On the morning of December 1st, 1948, a man's body was found propped against a seawall on Somerton Park beach near Adelaide, Australia. He was well dressed in a fine suit, but every single label had been carefully removed from his clothing. He carried no wallet, no identification of any kind, and no obvious explanation for how he had died. An autopsy found no clear cause of death, though pathologists suspected poisoning, and found his organs in a state that suggested something unusual, possibly a rare toxin that left no easily traceable signature in that era's forensic capability. No missing persons report anywhere in Australia matched him, and his fingerprints, when circulated internationally, matched no records on file anywhere in the world. Months later, investigators discovered a small pocket sewn into the lining of his trousers, easy to miss, containing a tightly rolled scrap of paper with two printed words, Tamam Shud, a Persian phrase meaning finished or ended, torn from the final page of a rare edition of a book of poetry called the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. That discovery set off a search for the exact book the page had come from, and remarkably, a man came forward saying he had found a matching copy of the same rare edition, missing that exact page, discarded in the back seat of his unlocked car around the time of the death. Inside that recovered book, faintly penciled on the back cover, was a short sequence of capital letters arranged in lines, widely assumed to be some kind of code or cipher, along with a phone number that traced to a local nurse who lived nearby. The nurse, when questioned, denied any real knowledge of the man, though investigators at the time believed she was withholding something, and she asked that her identity be kept out of official records for years. The code itself has never been definitively broken. Cryptographers, both amateur and professional, have proposed dozens of solutions over the decades, ranging from an initialism for a poem or personal message to evidence of a Cold War espionage connection. Since Adelaide in 1948 was near a sensitive weapons testing facility, but no proposed decryption has ever gained wide acceptance as the confirmed answer. For 70 years, the man's actual identity was the case's central unsolved mystery, more than the cause of death or the code itself. That changed only recently. Using DNA extracted from hair samples taken from a plaster cast made of the man's head and torso shortly after his death, and cross-referencing that genetic profile against public genealogical databases using techniques similar to those used in modern cold case DNA matching, Australian researchers were able to trace a family tree back to a living relative. In 2022, the Somerton Man was formally identified as Carl Charles Webb, an electrical engineer born in Melbourne in 1905, a man with no known history of espionage, no obvious enemies, and no clear public reason anyone would have wanted him dead. The identification answered the question that had defined the case for generations, but it also opened a new one, because knowing who he was hasn't yet explained why he died with every label cut from his clothes, why a coded message was hidden in his trousers, or why he was traveling under circumstances that left him completely unidentifiable for 7 decades. Webb's identity is confirmed. His death and the strange, deliberate anonymity built around it still is not.